Well, welcome to Weekly Catch Up Out and About with Trev. I must say I've been a bit out and about this week. This week's actually my study week, so a bit of a break from uni. But like I say, this week's just been a bit of a holiday. It was Easter at the end of last week, so I was able to head out bush for nearly a week, and I'll get into that a bit later on. But what I've really been thinking about these last couple of days is, as I've been just relaxing and listening to some music, making some nice meals, playing on the computers, I think we should all think at times that there's a lot of people who are homeless that can't relax. I mean, that's the biggest problem I had when I was in my van. It was very hard for me to relax, so I went to the community centres. That's where I could relax. I could chill out there and not have to worry too much about what was going on outside. But like I say, these last couple of days, it's been pretty cool to be able to just chill out and play some computer games, and I think it's also worth remembering that recently the Australian Bureau of Statistics released their 2016 census results, and they're available online. And well, some of it's available online, but the most important thing was that in the stats, the numbers went up, and we've now got about 116,000 people across Australia that are homeless, and the numbers are up here in Victoria to 24,000. We need to start really seriously looking at where this is going. We need more housing, we need more public housing, we need more social housing, we need all the different components. I've even got a problem with, I've said before that I think social housing is a broken model, and in some ways I think it is, but whatever goes into the mix to actually help is more than likely going to be a positive. I mean, as long as social housing is constrained and the pricing regime is put together in an appropriate manner, there probably isn't too much of an issue with it. But we've just got to be careful, because there are people out there that will absolutely squeeze every cent out of people if they can. And we've seen what's happened with the unregulated rooming house market, where rooming house operators are just absolutely bleeding people dry. They're charging them $250, $280 a week for a little room, even more, and the prices go up. And if Centrelink goes up by this much, well, your rent goes up by that much. So the net gain to the person is minimal, if anything. Things like this are what I'm concerned about with social housing. If social housing is left to just run, and they're able to set their pricing and do whatever they want, they'll just bleed people dry, and it'll only be the people that have actually got good incomes will be able to get into it, which is not what it's meant to be there for. And that's what public housing is really good for, is that it only takes 25% of your income. If your income goes up, well, your 25% stays at 25%. Sure, you pay a bit more, but also importantly, if your income then falls for some reason, then your 25% is still 25%. So that's what's so good about public housing. And unfortunately, we've seen with the state government now looking at dismantling huge swathes of the public housing stock in Melbourne. Like, not that we've got enough anyway, but they're going to dismantle it. It's going to be interesting. And I've covered recently protests down at Ascot Vale. There was a public meeting there. I was also out at Ashburton, and we've got the whole Markham Avenue estate and what's going to happen with it. And the housing tenants that were there are already gone, so that's an issue. And then we've got a whole range of other things happening, and what we need is we just need more houses being built. So, and that's the end story. That's what we need. So it makes me think, because my situation here is somewhat precarious as well. We know that at some point in the future the owner might do something with the house, and he'll probably sell it, or he might renovate it and sell it, or he might sell it so someone else can renovate it. Who knows what he's going to do with it, but we already know that that's in the pipeline. So, my time here is not permanent either. So it's interesting. My biggest problem at the moment is I can't dwindle down my rubbish. Our rubbish bin's full every week, mainly because of the housemate with his bloody cat litter. But it makes it tricky. So I recently hired a skip, load up a heap of stuff. So that's really cool too, because I don't have a vehicle, which is a problem, but I was able to hire a skip for a couple of days. It wasn't that expensive, I don't know, $270 or something. It was a fairly decent sized one. I got a lot of stuff out, and the guy drops it off, comes back and picks it up. So there are ways and means to get things done, and that's what I'll be focusing on over the next 12 months as I get rid of a lot of the crap I don't need. Just a thing, but it is tricky, and I think a lot of people just don't understand just how tricky it can be when there's limited options. The rental market is insane. We got in here through a freak of unique circumstances falling into place, and it's going to be interesting to see what down the line where I end up. So this is it's interesting, but got time to sort things out. So that's that. That's about all I've got to say, really. This week, like I say, I'm in chilled out mode. What I have done is I've just come back for an amazing bushwalk, and I'm not going to feature it here because I've now got a new playlist. It's my preparations to do the Australian Alpine Walking Track in 2020, and all of my hikes and my bike riding and trying to stay fit and trying to lose a bit of weight. I have lost a little bit of weight. All of that is geared towards knocking over the Australian Alpine Walking Track in 2020. So I've got a lot going on over the next couple of years, and should be quite interesting. But in terms of my hike, it was a cracking hike. It didn't go to plan. It ran off the rails. The plans ran off the rails within the first hour. There's an adage in military vernacular where they say that battle plans never survive the initial conflict, and it was very much like that. As soon as I started my hike, my plans went out the door. If you want to check it out, it's over on my other playlist, Trev's 2020 A.A.W.T Assault. But apart from that, I just hope everyone had a great Easter. And there's been a Weather Bureau thing come out in the last few weeks saying they reckon winter's going to be really, really cold. Great for the skis, great for me because I want to do a snow trip, but not so good for the homeless. So there's always contrast in everything. Cheers, guys.